We left off part 2 with the legal obfuscation they used to change the US Constitution. The statement that with this change, all citizens are now considered legal property of this new federal corporation, the United States, or in the vernacular, slaves. Some have questioned me saying, I am not a slave, I am a citizen with all the rights accorded me by the Constitution. Do you? That is what we are investigating. Let's begin with how the system works. All human activity is controlled by the flow of money. Consider why banks are called banks. Words have meaning. The banks of a river control the flow of the water. A bank controls the flow of money. Both have power over life. Control the flow of money around the world, and you control the world. That is their goal. They found their man to accomplish this in Woodrow Wilson, 1856–1924. He was the 28th U.S. President, 1913 to 1921, a leader of the progressive movement and a key figure in World War I. A former scholar and Princeton president, he implemented major reforms like the Federal Reserve System, the income tax, and led the U.S. into WWI, later advocating for the League of Nations, which became the United Nations, and winning the 1919 Nobel Peace Prize for giving the committee America. Now they had their Federal Reserve Bank, which gave them the ability to control the flow of all the world's currency. All that was necessary to do was have a cause to initiate control of the world's wealth. How they were able to set up and seize control of the U.S. money supply has been well recorded. I recommend reading for those interested. The Creature from Jekyll Island, a second look at the Federal Reserve by G. Edward Griffin. Something surreal happened in our country between 1913 and 1938. I believe it was in response to what they called the Great Depression, brought about by the Federal Reserve Bank beginning in 1929. There was a Geneva Convention held in Geneva, Switzerland. It lasted 5 years, from 1928 to 1932. I searched for the minutes of that convention. Remember, I told you that all must be codified, so there have to be minutes. I found minutes from 1928, 1929, 1931, and 1932, but 1930 is missing. I think 1930 is the key to unwind all this fraud. In 1932, the U.S. did not stay for the close of the convention. They returned home to begin the campaign season in full gear. Their man for president was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Interesting. My earlier research on the drug trade showed the Delano name came from his grandfather, Warren Delano. He ran the opium trade out of China for the Russell family, the same family who formed the Skull and Bones at Yale Law. The Delano family is also related to President Ulysses S. Grant and Calvin Coolidge. It seems they like this to be a family matter, all in their circle. Roosevelt was sworn into office on March 4, 1933. Then 5 days later, on March 9th, issued an executive order closing all U.S. banks. All gold held by all people, except them, was confiscated. The next day, he issued Executive Order 6273, reopening the banks under this provision. By virtue of the authority vested in me by Section 5, BB of the Act of October 6, 1917, 40 Stat L. 411, as amended by the Act of March 9, 1933, and by Section 4 of the said Act of March 9, 1933, and by virtue of all other authority vested in me, I hereby issue the following Executive Order. Take note of the use for authority of the Act of October 6, 1917. This act, over 100 years old, has been renewed by every president since Wilson, effective to this day. Section 5B of the Trading with the Enemy Act of October 6, 1917, 40 Stat Mon 411, Act 106, grants the U.S. President authority during wartime, later extended to emergencies, to regulate or prohibit banking, foreign exchange, gold, silver transactions, and property transfers involving foreign interests. It was designed to manage enemy assets and, as amended, allows for severe penalties for violations. The act was a subsection of the broader state of emergency declared by Woodrow Wilson and has been reauthorized by every president. The first president to issue an emergency proclamation was Woodrow Wilson, who on February 5, 1917, issued the following. I have found that there exists a national emergency arising from the insufficiency of maritime tonnage to carry the products of the farms, forests, mines, and manufacturing industries of the United States to their consumers abroad and within the United States. This act provides the authority for all the illegal schemes the committee has devised to control the world. Okay, they have the power. How can we the people regain what has been taken? They make plans, so we must make plans to counter theirs. If you understand what we are saying and want to see our plan, please like, subscribe, and share. Hit notifications to know when the next part will be released. Thank you.